Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First frame, Ryan Day to break.
Our referee Tatiana Wollaston announces the start of the opening frame. These two are good pals, we've established that. But now, all of that is forgotten.
Yeah, I think you're right to say that they're not in the best of form. Clearly, that they've got here for different ways. In the case of Ryan Day, of course, he did win the shootout, which is a great thing to win. You can resurrect any career. And to be honest, he did need a little bit of resurrecting the way he'd been playing. It might have been the stepping stone to further things, but for Ryan, it's not quite gone that way. But he's here because he won a trophy. Unlike Stephen Maguire, who is on the list of players who were next cabs off the rank, so to speak, for various reasons. More than one player has won various tournaments, so there's always a space or two down the ranking list.
Yeah, I was surprised in his interview that Maguire said that he didn't know the situation. I think if I was in his situation, I'd be monitoring that list on a daily basis. So much to play for in this event. There is one narrative with Ryan Day that could explain why he's been playing poorly by his standards. Basically, he's discovered that his left eye is weaker than his right. Now, he's an object ball striker, and when he's playing lengthy shots, he's finding that his vision, when he goes to the object ball for the last look, is for a fraction of a second just a little wobbly. So an optician has recommended actually that he uses one specially made contact lens just for the left eye alone. Now, he's practiced with that contact lens a couple of times, but he's decided not to bring it here. Still needs some acclimatization. And what you might see, if that left eye, if the eyesight does flicker, he might step back off the odd shot or two. So if he does that, you'll know why.
Foul. No miss.
Got a misjudgment with the cue ball racing around the table. Of course, he missed the red, but had he hit it as thin as he wanted, he still might have overhit slightly. Quite a long way out on pace there. Tremendous reach, goodness me. He thinks he can reach this. I mean, I always led to believe that when the cue ball was anywhere near the blue spot from the bulk end, then it's not going to be able to reach it without the rest, but it's beyond the blue spot and he almost could reach it. He's going to have to get a little extension now. I think that would be limitations for any player as far as reaching it naturally, where the cue ball is.
One.
Looked like he's been very lucky there. As the pink goes, of course, which initially a little scowl on his face because he was on the black, but fairly late discovery that the pink is available, perhaps. Yeah, I think that we know that these two have not been playing as well as a few of the players right at the top of the rankings, but as you point out, very good players on their day. Potentially so good that you'd almost compliment them by saying they've been underachieving in their career. It's not meant as anything but a compliment because you know how good certain players are.
7.
Other players overachieve. On ability,
8.
both Ryan Day and the man who's playing, Stephen Maguire, are exceptionally good players. Played that cannon quite nicely.
15.
So he's away here. The other match we saw with
16.
Judd Trump, David Lilly was a very sticky start, but already Ryan has given himself a good opportunity.
Yes, and this is the Ryan Day wheelhouse. This is what he does best. Scoring. He likes to be
23.
fluent. That's when he's at his most dangerous, when he gets involved in those bitty frames.
24.
No one likes them. But some can cope better than others.
$31. 32.
When you consider he's won 3 world ranking titles in his career, Riga Masters, the Gibraltar Open and the Shootout, all meritorious, yes, but not the biggest. And yet, his break building capabilities, truly world class. At some point this season, he's going to make his 400th century in professional competition. Maybe,
37.
if he has a good week this week, it could come right here. He's on 395 at the moment.
$38.
Yes, he's always a lot of cue power, good timer of the ball, all the things that you need. I think
43.
you're right, he should have achieved a little more than those 3 ranking events, but he's where he is, and he could still have a few years ahead of him as a player.
44.
Anyone who goes into the shootout doesn't really think he's going to be their week. You kind of dream about it, but he's given him this opportunity. You need a bit of luck and a lot of skill. Now he's definitely got the skill.
51. $52.
And that's a nice angle as well. If he wanted to open the reds up here, he has got the loose one, and there's an argument that he didn't have to play it into the bunch here right now, but well, he couldn't have hit through them any better. Really unlucky not to be on a red nicely there. I mean, this is the
59.
perfect split and beautiful ball striking, but you still need a little rub of the green. He's got a red to the middle, which really isn't that easy. I think he went into them because the single red that was loose with the colour still wasn't quite enough. That is a good shot. I mean, you saw it with a pretty narrow angle.
60.
There isn't much pocket to aim into from there. It's a very good recovery.
Really should be a frame winner. And it wasn't just floated in either. Had to play it at reasonable pace for the black.
Yeah, I mean, if the frame was 1, he might have played on the bottom red, but one along the cushion, but just a bit more work to be done. He needs another red. Don't want to play on that one and miss it and leave the whole frame. So he's searching for the one remaining red that he needs to make it snooker's
67.
required. It's a good start, this, isn't
68.
it? This really is. Maguire miss on a thin red he attempted. Could have put him back in, but he took the positive step of going for red, and Stephen, as is the case in this game, is been given a lot of time to think about the error that he made. There's a lot of sitting out at snooker, and sometimes you have to keep your concentration.
75.
Not think negatively about the shot that is the reason you're sitting down. That's a pity. Maybe at the end of break, you try and pop the green to the middle perhaps, but whatever happens, frame is well and truly over. Ah, great shot. They're all going in.
Neil, you've been there starting out a match, a tournament. To do so like this, the best possible start, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can just respond, I guess, to the conditions and how good they are. Practice, obviously, and all that's gone in. This is a big match. You know, make no mistake, single table setup. And it's a good start. Not a century, but a good start.
Ryan Day, 80, end of frame.
Yes, the break concludes on 80, and that's more than enough for Ryan Day to make a very agreeable introduction to this match. He leads Stephen Maguire 1-0.
More great drama. That's a big tick from me. Trust a Trader, sponsoring ITV4 Daytime.
Just a Trader.
The second match of the day is underway, and chalk and cheese the way the opening frame developed to our first contest in which Judd Trump overcame David Lilley 4-1 in the end.
Stephen Maguire to break.
The first frame there, Trump-Lilley, lasted 33 minutes. The first frame in this one lasted 11 minutes. One mistake from Maguire. Day pounced.
One.
Another crunching part, and we thought that the opening red in the previous frame,
Yellow ball.
he hadn't finished anything, but this time he pretty much has to play safe. Yes, but if I was Stephen Maguire, I'd be a little concerned, you know.
Ryan Day, 1.
He's just picked up Ryan Day on maybe the wrong sort of occasion here. He looks very sharp.
tell you what, if Ryan Day continues to knock in balls like that, he is a real handful, because when he gets in amongst the Reds, he's a premier scorer.
Yeah, it's very clean, wasn't it? Even on the replay, you could see that it didn't ever look like missing it. Well, misjudgment, but he might still be on the red.
5.
If he is, he's got the angle to play down for the black. It looked worse, perhaps, than it actually was, that last shot.
6.
Now he'll have to get this cannon right on the red next to the black here. Can't avoid it. He just wants to push it away from the cue ball a little bit so that he can obviously put it to the opposite corner. It's not bad. Depends if when the black spots. I think the red will still cut in.
13.
Yeah, well, there is enough room there just about to get through the pot. The cue ball is drifting to the bulk end though, as you can see. There's a trace of left-hand side on this to take it around the black more so. And for that reason, everything became a little too difficult.
13.
Well, apart from leaving the table, no damage done.
It's an attacking shot, because you'd be worried with Ryan's long potting at the moment, what you left him at this sort of range, although I think that right-hand red will go, but goodness me, it's difficult, and also you really do not know where the cue ball is going to end up if you try and cut this in. You might just feel that he's playing well enough to tackle this shot though. That's the problem. You could see there was no real escape from that part of the table. The black again is a thin cut, which is not a million miles away from the in-off in the left middle actually. So he might look elsewhere. You know, by nature, he's always been an aggressive player. Well, he's playing it with bottom here, so changes things a little bit. It was a very difficult shot to play like that.
Ryan Day
I think he was happy to escape to the other end of the table off it. I don't think he committed to it completely.
One of the perennial problems that Stephen Maguire has had over the years, and he would be the first to admit this, is a shortage of patience. And twice now, Day has missed balls and left Maguire nothing but awkward. Oh, what a pot that is. The entrance into the pocket there was so narrow, and at that pace, wow.
Well, you could be there a long time trying to pot those. If you were right behind it, it would be a good shot, but the cue ball had a way to travel to the object ball. Unbelievable shot. I don't think anyone was expecting this to go in.
3.
And you see Ryan, well, he can sit back down, Ryan. He knocks those in sometimes. Very acute angle.
I think it's one of the most deceptive things on a championship snooker table. just how tight these middle pockets actually are. The Maguire shot there, it wasn't far off 1 in 100, that. You don't see a professional player getting out of his chair convinced he's going to be back at the table.
Stephen Maguire, 3.
Well, it's a pity. He's wasted that opportunity that he created. He's not quite with it at the moment. His results have been, by his high standards, not so great. I mean, he did qualify for the German Masters, a tournament I know he likes. But
1.
I don't think anyone's ever gone into a match with Stephen Maguire thinking it's a good draw. He's a top player. But he's a bit out of sorts, and he's finding, I suppose, at the moment, maybe perhaps some of his opponents, like Ryan, playing well against him. He's giving him a good chance again here, though, isn't he?
Eight.
Been a mixed season so far for Day. He picked up substantial points in the season opening Championship League, got to the final group there.
9.
But in both the British Open and the English Open, defeated in the first round. Made the last 64 of the Northern Ireland Open. And he has qualified for the forthcoming
16.
Scottish Open, German Masters and European Masters. So I suppose it's not all doom and gloom.
17.
But a victory in this match, that would be just the confidence booster he's looking for.
$24. 25.
Just to emphasise the
27.
class that Day has, his highest ever ranking, admittedly it was 11 years ago, but he rose to 6th on the world list. You don't get there without being exceedingly good.
28.
No, what a chance to get a couple of frames lead here. Because a quick check on the scores, he's got a bit more to do.
34.
A couple of red colours will clinch things.
35.
Certainly a high value colour with the red that follows his pink. Which is likely to be
41. 42.
so snooker's required. And it's a very satisfactory start for the Welshman. Just missed that black, didn't he?
49.
That cut back black, which he didn't really commit to entirely.
50.
But a few and far other mistakes. Just reminding us what a good player he is.
Yes, Neil, and also in the
57.
process reminding us just how tough a school the World Snooker Tour is these days. The
58.
guy watching here, making the game look easy, is world number 23.
Yes, he's looking good for the World Grand Prix. It's not ranking points this week, but the top 32 on the one-year list required is in there. And as you pointed out, he's looking to
66.
build on that. Obviously, those German events, German Masters, European Masters, come in the new year. He'll count for his ranking with regards to all the other big events coming up. Top 16 for the players and Tour Championship, where you probably got to win something to be in that. But, you know, he's put himself in the mix by winning matches in qualifiers.
Ryan Day, 73 and
Well, he missed the yellow by a week, but of course that did not matter. This is a bright and breezy start from Ryan Day. He's 2-0 ahead with breaks of 80 and 73. Welcome back to Bolton and the Kazoo Champion of Champions. Day one this. We've already had one winner. Judd Trump is through to a quarter-final this evening. Who will he play? Well, right now, it looks like being Ryan Day. The crowd here being treated to some really fluent snooker from the Welshman. He's made breaks of 80 and 73. It's been a dream start for Day. For that man, it's been an absolute nightmare so far. Had one chance, tried to sneak a red past another ball. Didn't quite make the journey. Day got in. That was in the second frame. And right now he's looking good. Maguire looking cold. Ryan Day decided at the end of the previous frame to just take a short break. And I think his decision, at least, Neil, not to put that contact lens in that he's been practicing with, so far is being vindicated.
Just one lens. It sounds a bit unusual, doesn't it? But, well, he's sighting them pretty well today anyhow, whatever the problem is that you explained earlier. Playing some good stuff.
Thank you, frame 3. Ryan Day to break.
So Ryan, halfway to making it his day. Still work to do though. And he knows the capabilities of Maguire coming back from previous experience.
Interested to watch Stephen Maguire. I mean, as I say, I think he's been one of the best players in the world for a long time now. Maybe not getting quite the sort of silverware that you'd expect from him, but I wouldn't expect him to go down lightly here. He's been a bit subdued this season, I think, what I've seen of him. That is a fantastic shot. The pot going in centrally, the pocket, but the best part was that cannon. That is a delightful shot and something that might inspire completely has played as well. He may have just taken a little bit out of watching his opponent. Ryan Day is someone that makes the game look quite easy. He's got that gift. Sometimes you can be inspired by the person you're playing.
$16. 17.
Always nice if you could get through this best of 7 frame first match of the day and get into a nice long best of 11 just to really settle in the evening with a win behind the player as well. I think you'll be staying on the blacks for now because
24.
no reason for him to go anywhere else but on reds and blacks. This red just takes him down towards black again.
25.
No more than just getting enough points on the board, just building here. Done quite a bit of sitting down in the first 2 frames. This looks short of pace, but it's one of those that can actually work in your favour because
32.
you'll be nudging off the bunch of reds, opening reds. You can either screw it back, play on the black into the right corner, or run through. And at the moment, he's torn between exactly those 2 shots. You saw him go to the bottom of the ball. I think the run through is kind of the safest option. And the cue ball is going to run off the bunch. But the screw shot is more attacking. That seems to be the shot Maguire favours, I think. That's really nice. That's really good. Everything about it was perfectly played. A little unlucky,
33.
perhaps. The Reds kind of got in each other's way a fraction. There aren't that many that are available here.
When Maguire won the 4th of his 6 world ranking titles at the 2008 China Open in Beijing, he did so beating Ryan Day in the semi-final 6-5. He was 4-2 down.
41.
Won that match with the aid of a 1-4-7. Just throwing that one in there, Neil.
I can't help but think of it early on in a break at the level that these champions play at. He's going to watch the other red who doesn't get in the way in the black when he runs through. It's an annoyance, isn't it? I don't know if he's on it or not. It almost daren't look. Well, I think it will go again. It's just a trace of right hand side on this, perhaps to help it round the red. Played it well. There's no reason for him to go up for anything lower value than the black at this stage. Get the frame
56.
1 and then aim for something quite special, perhaps.
$57.
He has made 3 1-4-7s in professional competition, so knows all about the territory. Well, that one was not guaranteed, was it?
But at least hitting it slightly thin meant the cue ball was going to travel further up
64.
to get high on the red, which is what he needed. And that other red goes, as you can see. Not playing it this time, but the red at the base of the bunch
65.
is on. Don't think that's a great angle. May have to play on reds to the middle pocket here, which at least will guarantee being on the black again. It may not be all that bad. No, okay, he's decided that there is enough angle on that shot.
72.
And this, of course, is the magic ball. When this goes in, the frame is 1. Now he can try
73.
and make a 147 break, because I think he's got the luxury of knowing the frame is over. I think he played to shift that other red there, and played it at such a speed if he
80.
didn't move the red, he'd be still on 1. But of course that left-hand red might be troublesome later. Worry about it nearer the time.
81.
Again, possibly a red to the middle, which, as I say, is always good for getting back onto the black at least. Well, he's got options here. I think he would
80.
like a little bit more run on the cue ball there. Just a little tricky. But he can still get on the black at least. That's a real shame.
Stephen Maguire, 88.
Isn't it
And
just?
a
We were
break.
starting to think about the possibility of a Maguire maximum. At least, though, he gets off the mark in stylish fashion. Day's lead reduced to 2-1. High quality is always synonymous with the champion of champions, and that's certainly the case with this match.
Thank
Ryan
you.
Day
24.
sprinted into a 2-0 lead with breaks of 80 and 73. Stephen Maguire flirted with snooker perfection in frame 3 before missing the 12th red on 88. So the groundwork has been done. Who can hit the heights when it matters most?
Once again, an aggressive safety shot from Maguire. There's a couple we've seen him play. Any reds that could be in the way on the way back up to bulk here. That's a good shot. Figure of 8 safety, swinging the cue ball wide. Not that easy to play on these sort of brand new cloths. Tends to slide a little bit from the cushions. Very enjoyable 3 frames. I'm enjoying this match a lot. Short duration, best of 7, but so much to play for. Both players appear to be in good form. Sort of contrary to their recent performances. This looks trouble already. I think that Ryan could be in a spot of bother here. An area down by that bottom left pocket, just above Maguire's actual name, a little corner of the table, that would be a good place to leave the cue ball, but it looks like he's playing a red to pot it. It's even better. Found a way.
You know, like going behind enemy lines there and somehow finding a way back to sanctuary. The boot's squarely on the other foot now. It's Maguire who's got problems. You can't really say that someone's unlucky if they don't get a fluke. But this came so close to dropping. Again, Neil, the old cliche, game of fractions.
It's so far in the pocket that it's just about position here. Get the cue out that little corner of the table.
One.
Top caliber stuff, this. Day, even though he's in front, has a slightly inferior pot success rate to Maguire, but both are excellent. The recognised benchmark to compete at this level is around 90%. And both are far exceeding that. 96 for Maguire, 94 for Day. With the opportunity for Day to improve even more.
Six. Seven.
Yeah, just a question of when the black is respotted, what is available? Is black available and the red's just below it? That's the... I'm going to find out shortly, but of course if you're Ryan Day, you can't put a ball up there on the spot and just measure or anything. That'll be a foul, so you just have to assume you know
14.
what's going to be potable once the black has been put on there. Black goes anyhow.
$15.
if he's got the angle just to shift that red that he's very close to. Yes, all the shots are happening today, aren't they? The timing is there. His close control looks pretty good.
22.
And although he's not being too hasty, you can see why he prospered at the shootout. When he's building a break, doesn't need a great amount of time to think what to do. Not the quickest player on the circuit by any means, but quick enough. Good break builders have that innate sense as to how to go about things, Neil.
Yes, he's a classy
13.
player, and it's good to see him playing well. He's got all the shots. See a couple of reds there at the base, that little cluster, both available. Gone a bit further, I think, than he would have wanted to.
38.
Just a fraction. Sometimes that can get in your mind. Quite want to be up this far. Should be okay.
39.
Well, the natural here would be to play on one of the two reds below the black, but I don't know if he will. It's always nicer to play on open reds. Cue ball, the last couple of shots has just gone ever so slightly
46.
astray. And again, the recovery shot is needed. He's going to go into other reds. That's the problem in potting the one that he's going to have to take on. So now his problem is just a question of getting out of that little area onto his colour. It's impossible not to collide with those three reds lined up that he's just looking at. So now he's trying to top through them.
47.
This is what happens, you see. Gradually, a player will drift further out of position, and in trying to retrieve it, you end up in a position like this, where now it's a question of, does he stick or twist? Does he try and keep the break alive? Black's very thin. There's players in the game now that would knock this blue in. But it's a question of how much you want to be playing it. Having 2 or 3 shots ago, being in prime position.
Ryan Day, 47.
Well, I don't think you can fault that shot choice. He's not only played safe, he's put the green safe as well. So taken out an insurance policy by thinking that way.
Yes, true, but he'll still be a little annoyed that the break ended when it did. But you're absolutely right. When it does end, you can do no more than play the right shot.
One.
It's one of those where you don't mind getting a thick contact on a red once the red you pot goes in. Now, brown to the middle, you'd have to feel confident to play that. The run up to a colour is not easy with the red spread so far and wide. So I think he's going to be forced into playing this, and as I say,
Brown
already
ball.
behind in the frame, this has to drop or else the frame is probably gone. Giving himself a chance.
5. 6.
Well, no angle there to speak of, just a slight off straight angle. But as you can see, he's screwing into that red, which I think he really wanted to play, but he's actually developed it. Not so bad now.
13.
Just the line of the shot meant he couldn't really avoid hitting that red, so he made use of it.
$14.
Needs a cue ball to slow down a bit sharpish, or he'd be furious. He will not be happy with that.
Touching
Because
ball.
he's done some good work there, just getting that break started.
And that's the particular kind of mistake you do not anticipate being committed by Stephen Maguire, whose positional play is one of his calling cards.
I don't think it was a touching ball was called.
Brown ball.
No, it is. Touching ball. It makes it easier to run in behind. Something here. Maybe get the green out. I thought he might actually drop in behind the green because he didn't have to hit it if he nominates Brown.
Stephen Maguire, 14.
So Ryan Day's insurance policy has been ripped up. Green's in open play.
Yeah, sometimes it's the closer frames. This one could be that, which really do decide matches. The one frame visits are very good to watch, but they don't always determine the winner. Frames that you should steal that you should lose and vice versa. That is all wrong. He hit it much too thick, that red. He wouldn't go anywhere.
When the white was going up the table, Maguire might have anticipated leaving a simpler red than this. Nicely done, and enough pace on the cue ball to get out of bulk. So already 34 points to the good. It's looking really good for Day.
Again, just drifting into not the best place in that area where there's so many good areas to finish, little zones that you could finish perfectly on a red. Now he's just got a more difficult shot than he would have hoped. You play this full-bloodedly and potentially leave a red when you've got a 38-point lead. Well, he didn't play it to leave a red, but he still played it well.
6.
Not out of the woods yet, mind you.
30.
This red, most definitely missable. The red in any colour will do.
$14. 18. $19.
So I guess this is the one that might have got away from Maguire. He was on the comeback in the frame, wasn't he? And just ran out of position, finished touching ball on the brown. Ended the break.
26.
So that you know the scoreboard has developed a little bit further than that. The frame is over.
Ryan Day, 26, and a frame.
It is over, Neil. Stephen Maguire remains rooted to his chair. Ryan Day leads 3-1. He needs one more frame to set up a quarter-final against Judd Trump. It's very difficult not to be impressed by Ryan Day. So far in this contest, he leads Stephen Maguire by 3 frames to 1.
Ryan Day
The question now, can Ryan finish off? Some quirky old stats in this match. Stephen Maguire in trouble, even though he boasts a 97% pod success rate. So why is he in deep trouble? Well, that tells its own story. Ryan Day's safety has been watertight. Not so Maguire. But he's knocking them in there.
1.
Yes, he knocked one in earlier, didn't he? Which played a great cannon into that same pocket to get the black in play. Yeah, cannon will be on the 2 reds, I think, just to try and bring them into the open. Interesting with stats, isn't it? I mean, Ryan Day has still got a 100% safety success, but I still don't quite know how all that works, really, because he just played a safety shot and Maguire knocked one in, as he did earlier. There you have it. It's a good job I'm not involved in that, doing the stats. I get easily confused.
9.
Well, pod success is obviously objective. Safety success is definitely subjective.
Yeah, suggestion he can't do any better with his safety, but from the break-off shot, this has come about. One thing I do know, it's been a very good match.
16. 17. 24. 25.
It's pretty well played. Saw the shot and the cue ball, the way it
32.
arced. He played it with topspin and it kind of goes from right to left here. You see it just go into the bunch. It's one of those, you hit it with any more pace, the cue ball probably goes all the way around the bunch. Doesn't hit anything. He's not on a simple red, but I don't think he could have played the cannon a lot better. He's more than happy with that red going near the left middle, but for the moment, in playing this shot, he's got to avoid it with his body. Might try something different. This is another shot to the middle, which he's not that easy really. Queuing over the bunch. Well, I
Stephen Maguire.
saw one
32.
earlier actually in the match with Judd Trump, which stayed at the top jaw, and pretty sure that Stephen Maguire thought that was in. He was on the walk. If anything, it went uphill, I think.
One.
And now, what an opportunity for Day to slam the door.
Three. Four.
Again, they could develop the reds here. Those four reds, just gently bringing them into play, might be in his plans. Really nice. The pace of it was excellent. You didn't want to push anything safe or go into them too hard. And,
10.
that chance that Phil said earlier to close his match out has got even better. This is a key shot. It's not simple, but if it goes in, everything is available.
11.
Too early to say this match is over, but the way he's played, you wouldn't put your mortgage against him, putting the match beyond him now. I don't think Stephen Maguire's done a great deal wrong. Ryan Day's played ever so well.
The key to clinching is not to allow
18.
the situation to inhibit your normal flow. Don't get too cautious, don't be too hasty either. Just fire that, fire that
Ryan Day.
happy medium,
18.
but there's nothing happy about that shot. What a miscue. And in a few frames time, we could be looking back on that as a major turning point.
It just sounded horrible, didn't it? There's no tip on his cue or something. Strange miscue that. Just trying to grab the cue ball and stop it from going near a cushion.
One.
Yeah, well, there is a tip on there, but it was certainly made a bad noise. Miscues are never much fun. It was a strange one. Wow.
Stephen Maguire. 1.
Maguire will be furious. Day will be absolutely ecstatic to be back at the table so quickly.
missing a black like that at this level when all of the reds are sitting pretty, it's unforgivable. Of course, there's doubt in Day's mind now, not just about the situation, but also about the tip.
One.
Strange. Now that was not dissimilar in a way to the previous miscue, that shot. Just the kind of little way he was trying to drag that ball across and not go too far. And I think it was on his mind. That's why he's played it so badly. So now, from all the good snooker, this match has just turned a little bit. We've seen a couple of quite serious errors. I guess winning is never as easy as what you think. Phil said, you know, clinching a match can be the problem. As soon as he said it, he miscued straight away.
And let's not be too romantic about this, Neil. There's a lot of money at stake here. A lot of money. And these two, particularly in the last year, haven't been earning a great amount. And without being too vulgar, that adds to the pressure as well.
Yeah, it's probably all he could do, but he's leaving a red to the middle and he's fully aware of that. It's a bit of a more than a tempter. It's something that Ryan Day obviously can't refuse. And I think the way he's been playing, he's able to devour this chance. But as I say, it's changed. It's a fraction, the mindset in the last few minutes. It's a bit more difficult than it might have been. You can sense it, Phil. Sometimes just things change, and this match has just turned a little bit. Not necessarily Maguire is playing any better, but Ryan Day, he caught a glimpse of the winning line, I think.
Yeah, I think we can put Maguire's miss black down to a lack of concentration, but for Ryan Day, the miscue, that was very badly timed. Ever since, he seemed unsettled.
Now this time Maguire might be tempted by the red in the middle of the table, given there's no easy safety shot. It's not much fun either, but you might have to play it. He ball in an area where there was no obvious red except the one he played that he was going to leave.
Just to underline the financial stakes, whoever wins this match from this tournament alone will more than double their prize money for the season so far. So you can fully understand and appreciate the nerves they're feeling, particularly, it seems, Ryan Day at the moment.
Oh goodness, that the continuation of the errors that have started to creep in. It's a prestigious event, isn't it, this Champion of Champions, along with the Masters. They're invitational, but you kind of invite yourself by winning something. Simple as that.
One.
And the more vulnerable that Day looks, the more Maguire will fancy his chances. Justifiably so.
Four. Five.
Oh, it's okay. He just, I think, flicked the other red on the way through there, but perfectly on the pink. So got a good lead of 25 points,
11.
but those other two reds on the left of the table, he'll need one of them, whatever he takes with these two open reds.
Twelve. $18.
Yeah, it's not the best of angles.
$19.
Both colours here just coming away from the reds, going to bounce the black from the bottom cushion and back up here. He's played it quite well. He's given himself a stab at this red. So this will be frame ball, and if he could pin it back to 3-2, then really he's in the match.
26.
I'll realise that Ryan Day probably should have already won it. Gives him some hope. But this red has to go in.
$27.
They call him On Fire Maguire. Well, I don't think he's on fire yet, but he's certainly warming up. And Day will have serious concerns.
Stephen Maguire, 32.
Well, he's 46 behind, 35 on. That is one snooker, a free ball, and he could possibly escape. Of course, nearly completed one of the greatest escapes we've ever seen on ITV. In that memorable semi-final against Marco Fu, won a frame when he needed 4 snookers, Ryan Day.
Yes, I remember it because it doesn't happen very often. I think in this situation, as you point out, the free ball is the key that you might get on the last frame, which of course on the colours, you only get the, if you've got a free ball in the yellow, it's only worth 2 points, but it can be worth 8 with the free ball with the high value colour. I think what you're looking for is the sort of the dream snooker, just one shot which can bring about all those things. And he hasn't quite managed it there. You don't know until you try.
And now it's roles reversed.
Foul. Stephen Maguire 7 and a frame.
This time the concession arrives. Ryan Day had a simply gilt-edged chance to win the match. He did not accept it. Stephen Maguire is still alive.
More great drama? That's just the job. Trust a Trader, sponsoring ITV4 Daytime.
JustATrader.com.
Hello, we're Zopa from
Psychologically, it's vitally important for Day not to dwell. But boy, is that easier said than done. Day actually had another quite embarrassing miscue earlier this year. Not snooker-wise. He was playing in the Pro-Am at Celtic Manor on the 2010 course in the European Tour event. He was playing with the Japanese professional Kawamura. And on the first tee, he basically topped it a foot or so in front of him.
That's not a nice experience for anyone, is it? Oh, that was a bad shot. He kind of got away with it, really, because he hit the jaw of the left middle. It took the speed out of the cue ball, which was on its way back up the table, I suspect. So he got a bit lucky there, Ryan. Good safety shot to block off the right side of the table because the green is in the way. Clear shot to reds on the left side, which sometimes means that you've only got a pot available. It's very difficult, very straight. Well, the luck has changed a little bit here. He played a good cue ball anyway, to be honest, and had the red not gone in, you know, he tried to guide that cue ball back and did so with a lot of skill. Now, if he's going to get behind a colour, he's going to have to make it a good shot because the reds are so widely spread. It's hard to cover them all unless you drop right in behind a bolt colour. And often there's that heart-stopping moment on that shot that he's hard enough and you haven't reached. So he might not even try that. He might try and get the cue ball back.
Ball.
Well, there's the roll up, I think, coming.
Stephen Maguire, 1.
Slowly, but he hasn't covered all the reds. A lot of this game's played in the minefield. We knew that anyway, but here's an example. The way this match is just shifted. Maguire was good in the frame he won. He was on for a 147. A couple of really good frames from Ryan Day. But now we're back to proper snooker, aren't we? Where a little bit of thinking has gone in and it's getting nervy. We're not even in a decider.
Yeah, and this is what makes a really good match. Variety. We've seen those fluent frames, the first three in particular. Now they're not just fighting their opponent, they're fighting themselves. Particularly, you get the impression that's the case with Day.
Well, I have to say that
Stephen Maguire,
it was again a pretty good shot because he played the plant, but really that cue ball guided back up the table, and to find the corner pocket, that is unlucky in my book.
Yeah, normally you would say a direct in off would be avoidable, but that really was, as you say, Neil, cursed.
One.
Interesting choice of shot to play to cannon the blue, but again, he's looking at it and he might end up playing it, but clearly he's pushed it a little further to the left cushion than he would have wanted. All of a sudden players were going fluently, but there's been a lot of thought put into shots from both players in the last few minutes.
Stephen Maguire,
To
1.
make one from a chance like that, a red easy from hand, which maybe didn't offer brilliant position, but again, he knows he should have done a lot better. Okay, the black was never in play, but there was a chance to get 40 or 50 minimum.
One.
Two problems here. One, the black on the side cushion. Two, when the pink goes in, it's going to be inaccessible on its own spot. That helps slightly.
Yes, and as you say, pink and black being tied up is not the doesn't make it an easy table to make that many from. Taking reds and blues, it's going to be a long way to go to get the frame one. Red's in pretty good shape, it's just the rest of the colours.
I was saying in the previous frame just before the miscue that it's important in this kind of situation to find the optimal pace. Not too slow and ponderous, but also don't go like a bull at a gate.
Well, I mean, keyboard's gone nowhere.
13.
It still might be on a red, but goodness me, it should be a lot easier. I don't know if he's even on that red by the black spot, you know. That was a terrible shot. Yeah. Hard to think how you're going to finish there from where he was.
Brian Day, 13.
It's impossible to dodge the conclusion. That shot and a few more besides are the byproduct of increasing tension. Day looks susceptible.
Table rather congested on that right side. Again, not easy to get the cue ball back here to the kind of area it's in now. So it's going to take a good safety shot. That's very well played. The red that's towards the right, to the right corner, it doesn't go into a full pocket. As you can see, it does, I think, pop, but it's not entirely clear path through.
You know, the margin of error was so tiny, can't seriously be contemplated. Although he keeps looking.
Yeah, I mean, it does pop, but of course there's a chance you might clatter into all those other reds. It would look terribly messy if that happened. And he overcompensated, and unless something goes in here, I'll tell you what, it's another great chance now. He didn't want to play it, and then he played it, worrying about that he had to hit it into the left side of the pocket, and he just brought everything into play. It's unbelievable how the frame seems to have changed in a heartbeat here.
From that distance, even for someone of Maguire's calibre, that really was low percentage. And now again.
1.
Ryan Day, come on down.
Problem is, if he doesn't win the frame here, you know, that's the other thing. He knows this match should already be over. No, it's not the best way to think, but he might just be crossing his mind that it really is now or perhaps never.
4.
You're right though, Neil, that one shot completely transformed the table.
Well, it did. It brought the black into play and about 5 reds. Unbelievable.
21.
So, I mean, notwithstanding the previous frame, you know, he's played a good match. Ryan
20.
Day, he just faltered a little bit, which of course you can't afford for that to happen again. And for now, you know, you're not thinking too far ahead of yourself. Just, you know, get a couple, 2 or 3 more red high-value colours going and see where it's all taking you. No point in thinking that he's got to win the match here, even though he kind of has to. But thinking about it won't help. So just pop what's there. You should be in a healthy lead when all the
80.
open reds have been potted with colours.
Ryan Day,
Oh,
18.
I just can't believe it. Cannot believe it. That is a very easy miss. There really is nothing difficult about this at all. Often you can see why players miss there. It's just the pressure that's allowed that to happen, nothing else.
We caught him smiling there, but that's not the emotion he's really feeling. He's starting to feel sick.
It's the only good thing that came of it, that Maguire didn't have a clear path through to the red. He just must be sensing, though, that if he can just find a way of winning this frame, then if they got into a decider, then he really would be fancying the job. He's not there yet by any means, still behind. Table, once again, with a lot of awkward balls on it.
Stephen
Well, he
Maguire,
checked to
1.
see that red to the right middle, and it clearly is on, but it's quite acute.
You don't get
1.
this many chances at Monopoly.
6. Seven.
Goodness me. I mean, he's on the red, but this is not nice where he's finished.
14.
Clearly up above the red he's closest to. He'd have been perfectly on either of those reds. There's just nothing nice about this shot now, and the worst part is it should never have been here. I think he'd be reluctant to turn it down. Missable. Well recovered and pushed that red near the pocket, so that might be his next red. So
15.
Things are looking up. It doesn't quite tell the story how he's got there, but this is a really good chance once again to get this match closed out. Lead of 45 points, so red and the blue here means 51. He might want to
21.
take something higher in value. I mean, the natural shot is to play on the blue, which means only Maguire can tie. He'd be looking for another red to follow this, whatever he plays.
$22.
Played pretty well for the most part, but there's no doubt he's got the wobbles in the last half an hour or so.
He will be so relieved to see the black fall, and now just dolly in the red, and all of that tension will
29.
wash away.
$30.
Yeah, the story of this contest, undoubtedly, Ryan Day with breaks of 80, 73 and 47, strode into a 3-1 lead. He stumbled, but he is over the line.
Ryan Day, 37, frame and a match.
It has been Ryan's day, but will it be his night? And he's got to beat Judd Trump in the quarterfinals. That's to come. What we know now is that Stephen Maguire has been eliminated. It's a Welshman who goes through by 4 frames to 2.